Hey guys, I wanted to make a quick video because I wanted to venture out of the world of writing a little bit. If you've been following what I've been doing, you've been writing a lot about ascension and law of attraction, and one of the questions I get all the time is, how do I move into a place where this is a regular part of my life, and how do I accept this? Well, I think it's based in the idea of living from the higher part of ourselves that knows that this is a truth and knows that we are all special and beautiful and unique. And I think, everyone tells us, like, no, you're not different. Like, no, like, you're not a unique snowflake. Well, yes, you are. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit in this video and just kind of brief you guys on what I think are the two parts of ourselves that we all sort of have in us and tend to oscillate between. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to call them our lower self and our higher self. Our lower self is rooted in ego. So I think we see a lot of that right now in the world, especially with the political landscape of people identifying with a certain political party or a race or religion or gender, sexual orientation, whatever. And they think, or we think, if we're, when we're identifying with something, that we're right and that, whatever we believe in our collective little group is right, and everyone else is out there and they're outsiders and they're wrong. I think that there's a lot of good that people are trying to do by affiliating themselves with a certain group, because ultimately we all just want to be happy and we all are doing what we think is best for ourselves in the world, but at the end of the day, it's still rooted in ego when we separate ourselves. Our ego is the part of us that thinks because we do one thing or we treat somebody a certain way that we should get a certain treatment back, or we should have a certain right, or we should, we're entitled to something, when really how other people treat us and what goes on out there, if we're separating ourselves, isn't really our business. And I know it's funny to say that how other people treat us isn't our business, but it's not, because at the end of the day, all we're responsible for is ourselves. And I know, because I've been there, and I've been that person that has, done X and Y and Z to make sure that this person is happy, or this person loves me, or this person is happy with me as a friend or a family member or whatever. But that is my ego talking, because the higher part of myself knows that I don't need anything in return, and the things that I do should be from a genuine place of love and admiration and care about someone's well-being, whether it's one person or a collective group. That's what living from a higher perspective means. You don't need anything back because it's all in here. So the higher part of ourselves is the part that knows that we are all kind of all in the same boat together, and we don't need to try to force our opinions or our beliefs or our expectations on someone, because what we're living is our own path, and people aren't going to be able to accept or believe or love us until they're ready to. The higher part of ourselves is the part that transcends, the physical senses in our bodies. We identify so much with our five senses and our physical look, but when you think about it, this higher part has been the same despite all of the changing things that we've gone through in our lives. When we were babies, and then we moved into being toddlers, we didn't live in the same body. We experienced new sensations, and all of a sudden we could crawl and walk. And then we moved into adolescence, and then we moved into, puberty and our teenage years, and we were awkward, and we didn't know, but there was still this thing in us, that thing that knows, like, that identifies with who we are. And a lot of those things are ego-based, like I said. Those things are our education, the way we were raised, what we think we deserve. But those aren't the things that we were born with. Those are the things that society and our well-intentioned parents or guardians kind of put on us and told us to believe, and we adopted those things as truths when really they were just opinions that we repeated enough to ourselves that they became truths. So when we look at ourselves, we're adults, and someday we're going to be 70, and our 70-year-old bodies aren't going to look anything like our 20s bodies or 30s bodies or whatever, but there's still going to be that thing in us, right? That thing, like, whether it's, you can call it mental, you can call it, your heart, your soul, whatever you feel comfortable with. But that thing is the one thing that stays the same. saying is like thought and our true like desires and our hearts, those things are eternal, and those things are what I consider the higher self. So when we're able to live from that perspective and just know that, despite all of the changing circumstances around us and the situations we find ourselves in and the experiences that we have, when we're able to look at it from this like eternal standpoint, of kind of just going through the motions without separating ourselves or getting caught up in an idea of, well, this is how it is right now, and I need to be angry, and I need to be this, and I need to be that. Like, no, you don't. All you can do at the end of the day is choose to live from a place of love and complete calm and peace, because everything is always going to be okay. And that's what you need to know. That's what everyone needs to know. Everything is going to be okay, and what you put out there comes back. So when you put out vibes of like anger and separation, whether you think you're separating yourself because you think it's going to change the other group, stop worrying about other people. Worry about yourself. Worry about how you live. Because when you give love out and you support people, whether you agree with them or not, that is going to transcend, and they're going to remember that, and they're going to do the same to others. Because when we're open-minded, other people see that. You have to lead by example. You have to remember that. So just remember to live from your higher perspective, and you're going to see magic happen in your life. You're going to see situations change. You're going to see people change. And it's not because you need them to. Remember that. It's because they have no choice but to respond to what you're giving out. And I think that's where true peace and happiness is born. And then you don't necessarily need anything to happen because you're just okay with where you're at. So I think that's pretty much the gist of the lower self and the higher self. This is my first video, so if you want me to delve deeper in any topic, like, please reach out. I'm going to put my website down here so you guys can reach out my contact. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to let me know or share it or whatever. You can subscribe, and I just want you guys to know that I love you and I believe in all of you, and I wish you all the best, and I want to help you realize your full potential. So I hope you all have a great day.